Welcome to the Real Estate Show on KMED. August the 27th is our day. Pete Belcastro with you here in the house. I'm a real estate broker with John L. Scott in Southern Oregon. We get together with you once a week here on KMED to talk about all sorts of real estate-related issues and topics. And so far in 7.5 years, we haven't run out of things to say. And I have a feeling today is much going to be along that same line because we talk about two talkers in the house. They're here today, and that's Guy Giles and Brad Bennington. First of all, nice to always see Guy Giles here with us from Bank 34 Mortgage. Guy's our resident mortgage expert here on the Real Estate Show, and nice to see you. How you been doing?
I'm all right. I made it here safe somehow.
Yeah.
My old truck, my mirror literally fell off while I was driving out to ride some horses with my daughter yesterday. So
I was gonna say you're like the big horse guy. And you were last time we saw you. I think you were heading somewhere with your horses. They were out in the parking lot, I think.
Up to Lily Glen, yeah. We had a nice camp trip up there.
Yeah.
There's some great places to ride around here.
Tell us what just is going on in your world on mortgage rates and interest rates at Bank 34. What do you this week here, the end of August? What's cooking with you?
Oh man, it's actually some refis now too. Is all I've really been focusing on the last 3.5 years is purchase money.
Right.
And I'd say I'd probably had no more than maybe one refinance in my pipeline, but all my old clients seem to be finding me in the last 2 weeks. And we have a ton of refinances going.
So what do you think that's why? I mean, what would you attribute the refinancing to?
I think people just feel like lending is to the point now where we'll do some common sense stuff.
Okay.
You know, I mean, we're not beating people up too bad. We're still in a full doc world, and I hope it doesn't really stray too far from there.
But if the people who are refinancing, I was always told that if the interest rate was like 2% difference, that probably would make sense to refinance. The people that you're talking about refinancing, is the percentage, I mean, what is the kind of the difference that you're seeing regarding what they have had versus the percent which they're going to get now?
I had one come in here yesterday. Well, in here, I don't think she was at the radio station, but come into work yesterday, that was still at 6.25. So that was probably the highest one I've seen in a long time. I'm not a big rule of thumb guy, just because if you're retiring and you want to have a lower payment, some people will come in, and it's kind of one of those weird things where I don't encourage people to take out loans for longer terms necessarily, but people are, hey, I want to retire and I can do it if I can refinance my house and get a lower rate.
Sure.
And, I have a lot of those people kind of coming through. Some people just, like I said, that are left over from the high rates and weren't necessarily in a program that fit into the HARP, where that was the government program. They just extended that into next year, but that's where you can come in with really no equity in your house or negative equity and still refinance if your loan is owned by Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac.
So the government is going to back that loan.
For the most part, those are pretty much through. But it's the normal person that is seeing some appreciation in their house that really wanted to do something. I'm seeing a lot of people pulling out some cash to remodel their house, and hopefully Brad and his fellas can get out there and some ladies and get these remodels done. But that's the other piece that I'm seeing.
Well, it's interesting that because I say refinancing is interesting going on, and the new rates that you're giving into the refinance area are generally in what range?
Well, it's mid-high threes for the regular stuff, and then down around really low threes for the government, for your FHA and for your VA loans. So they're still really good. The other thing that I'm doing a few of right now is some rehab loans, and people are come in and you can have your house appraised like the remodel is already done, and we can refinance you and get all the work done that you want to get done on your house.
So it's like a remodeling loan kind of thing to do that kind of thing. Well, what's interesting there, Brad Bennington's also here with us, and
howdy.
You got to be hearing when you hear Guy talk about the rush and the kinds of things. What about loaning, fellas? Tell people about how you're getting loans for new construction, especially that we're seeing. I mean, the statistics from the MLS are the most I've ever seen in terms of new homes being built in the area. So how are those loans coming through, Guy? How do you handle that?
Well, it just depends on who you're dealing with. A few of the builders that I deal with, they have their own money, so they end up building the houses, and then we just do a loan on it after the house is built. And the other way is you can have a construction loan where you just go in and you have the house appraised like it's already built. You can already realize that equity in the house, and that way is pretty good. There's a couple of different ways to do that. One is an all-in-one, and then the other one is where and that's just you get your loan, and that's going to be your loan till the end. The other one is where you have one during the construction phase, and then you'll do some permanent financing when it's all said and done.
Two kinds of things. Two kinds of opportunities there.
Yeah. There's definitely some money out there for construction loans. The appetite's coming back. It's not back where it was yet, but it's getting better.
Yeah. Well, Brad is on the Planning Commission of Jackson County and out there in Jacksonville as well. What are you hearing and seeing? I mean, you see so much of what's happening in the development world in terms of housing around the county. What are you seeing right now?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks to Guy for having me on today. He's man, what a nice guy. Let me come and visit with you guys today. But the thing is, which we all know, is that we just have an awful lot of demand for people to come and live in Southern Oregon, and which we all agree with, right? What a great, wonderful, beautiful place it is. And the reality is that our construction community is running full tilt right now. We just can't create enough product for people to buy. So you're kind of sealing that on the real estate side.
So you're seeing all of that business right now. I mean, you're saying, now make sure I get this right from you, because I mean, it wasn't always this way, obviously, but the fellas, I mean, the workers, the construction companies that we've had many times on our shows in the past, everybody is working right now. Everybody's got something going on. Is that right?
Yeah. So 10 years ago was the statistical peak of the residential construction market, June 2006, almost exactly 10 years ago. And then we know what happened afterwards. So the biggest thing that happened, and this is where Guy's industry was really key, is the lenders decided, the regulators, really the bank regulators decided that they didn't want lenders to have any real estate backed paper. So they launched a set of regulations that made it almost impossible for lenders to lend money for basically all that period of time. And then, like Guy said, the lenders have now come back and they said, okay, we will now lend money. We'll support the lending of money for real estate backed paper again. So the demand on the people side never went away. We've never not had people that wanted to come and live here. It was just, how are they going to solve the money equation? How do I sell what I have so I can move to Southern Oregon? Well, once that barrier was gone, once lenders decided they were going to come back to the table, there was literally a flood of people that wanted to come into Southern Oregon. But we had so much attrition and erosion in the construction industry for personnel and other things that now we've only got 40% of the construction resources that we used to have to fill this demand, this huge demand for people that want to come and live in Southern Oregon. So we've talked about all that before, so here we are in 2016, and yes, that is absolutely true. Our construction industry is running full tilt, both on the commercial side and the residential side. We have businesses when we come, we've got a new gigantic Dick's sporting goods store being built at the Northgate Center, all that Northgate construction going on. We have lots of other commercial construction going on. And our residential builders and contractors are just running as fast as they can go, and they can't keep up. That's just a fact.
And that's a good thing that's happening. What is it doing for prices? I mean, does it put pressure?
They're going up.
They are going up.
Yeah, they have to go up. Part of the price pressure is really, and this is where I remind everyone that we're really not in growth mode yet per se, because we really haven't returned to our baseline yet. If you look at what our baseline was, we're not back there yet. So we went into a deep, deep hole. We're climbing up out of the hole, and we're maybe about 3/4 of the way back to where we were before everything fell off a cliff in the first place. The other thing is we have regulatory things going on that we have absolutely no control over. They're going to drive price up. For instance, our legislature, in the last 2 legislative sessions, they passed all this carbon tax stuff that's going to, even as we speak, it's increasing the cost of delivering goods. It's increasing the cost of producing goods. It's my understanding that the EPA has just created a new regulation which has been signed into law that's going to increase the cost of operating heavy trucks 14% over the course of the next 24 months. So all of these cost drivers that we don't have anything to do with are out there, and they're in play, and they're driving price. They're not driving profit up, they're driving prices up. So prices are going up, not our profits not going up, but our overheads going up.
Try to find, I know you talk about remodeling loans, that Guy you were talking about. I think that's really a good idea for a lot of people. I guess the problem is that try to find someone out there to work right now. Is that right? Even the remodelers, everyone right now, you're saying is out there, and Well, you're right. Try to get, I guess, someone lined up because it's taking. Well, I'll be there in 2 or 3 weeks. We had that problem, I guess, even over in K Falls, actually. So yeah.
Try 2 or 3 months.
For some things, is there particular areas that are more vulnerable to this than others?
Well, the buildable land areas that we have, for instance, if you want to live in Eagle Point, I've got good news for you. There's some buildable lots out there that are available. If you want to be in certain parts of East Medford, I've got good news for you. If you want to live in Ashland or in Jacksonville, I've got bad news for you. I mean, trying to find a buildable lot in either Ashland or Jacksonville is almost like trying to find Bigfoot. It's
they're just not. They're just not there.
So those are good candidates for a find a place that you want to live and then find a house that somebody There's this guy named Bel Castro that's got this kind of cool location in Ashland. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe one of these days he wants to sell his house.
I'm trying to sell that thing. I'm trying to get it ready to go. Well, the interesting is that the new construction in the last statistics show. I mean, half of the new construction in the county is taking place in East Medford. Yeah. I mean, there's just no. That's
where the buildable lots are.
That's because that's where the lots are.
Yep.
And everything else, there's just not much. There's just not much out there. When you're in the planning commissions and you see what's coming up in Jacksonville or around, or even in the county, is there an adequate? Are we addressing? Are we beginning to address? Are we addressing our housing shortage issue? I mean, are we coming? Are you think a little bit?
Kind of, sort of, yeah. So the good news is at the county level we have proactive management. We really have. You've had Kelly Matting on. And I just can't overemphasize how lucky we are to have business-minded county commissioners, which we do. Colleen Roberts, Doug Breidenthal, Rick Dyer, really, really good people. Danny Jordan, I think, is doing a good job on the management side. And Kelly Matting is really, she's got her binoculars out. She's looking down the road, and she gets it. What we hear is we hear right now Medford has about 80,000, a little over 80,000 people that live here. We hear that over the next 20 years, our population is going to double. And the studies that I've seen, I think I would tend to agree with that. So we're really looking at a gigantic growth curve just right around the corner.
Yeah, I know we've been talking about that doubling the population here since the first time we ever started the show. I heard this back when I was still in the news business, and it has not happened. I mean, we grow a little bit, but we're not growing to that point to where that's going to happen. I hope. I'm just wondering where this is all going to. Where we're going to end up at. I mean, you're still loaning, and loaning is easy, guy, right? I mean, you got people coming, and the demand is there.
Actually, I'm going to try to help you out a little bit, Brad. I'm doing a loan right now for a guy from New Mexico that's going to come here to build.
Thank you.
We got some
to build.
We got a construction guy on the way to help right now.
Bless your heart.
So, we're loaning money. I mean, it's not fun to do a loan. It's not the old stated days where you could get a co-fogger to to help you get a loan.
I wish that. Yeah, no, go ahead.
But we're definitely loaning. I mean, if you're able to make your payments. I mean, if we can document your income, it's not that bad to get a loan anymore.
Well, it isn't. I wish the Builders Association would somebody be a leader, I suppose, in trying to come up with alternatives for all housing. I mean, you talk about single family housing, and that's the thing. I have been working with. I was telling Guy, I've been working with the last few weeks with a number of older people who have no place to go. I mean, it's just amazing to me the differences in housing that are out there for our citizens. Yeah, and single family people, those are people with money, right? I mean, you got to have money to do that, right? Yeah. When you don't have that. What do we do? I mean, you talk about the homeless and the issues around. I wish the Builders Association do this? Can we get, I don't know, what's out there that we can solve this or do this or help more people than we're doing?
Yeah, we're doing that, but it doesn't look like what you think it is. And I'm going to reach back to the 1940s for a quote that we all know. Okay. Winston Churchill once said that taxing yourself into prosperity is like a man standing in the bucket and trying to raise himself up by lifting the pail.
Well, I would agree.
So what we have is we have a situation where I've already shared with you a report. NAHB did a nationwide report that showed 20% of the cost of a new home was regulatory overburden. In other words, not bricks, not sticks, not 1 hour of labor, but literally paperwork that is added by government rules and regulations.
But that's not going to change anything.
It is changing. It's getting worse. Wow. So it's going from 20% to 30%. So when you want to have a discussion about affordable housing, the first thing that we talk about is how much of these regulations that we are burdening ourselves with are really doing anything or really necessary.
But if you don't do them, Brad, you got nothing. Then you got a bigger mess and problem than you've even gotten now.
Well,
right? What do we do with these people? This is the question. What do we do with people who are being forced out of manufactured home parks, for example, that I've been dealing with because of the rent increases and stuff? What do we do with these people? Where are they going to go?
The government really has a problem they've created.
Yes,
in other words, the building industry and the very slim profit margins that we operate on are not the reason that we have people saying that housing is unaffordable. Yeah. It's the regulatory pressure that government has created, and the more government gets involved, the worse it gets.
Well, I don't disagree with you there. When politicians say we're going to reduce red tape for business, I want to shoot them because that's absolutely, it's never happens. Anyway, the Real Estate Show continues here on KMED. We're with Brad Bennington and Guy Giles from Bank 34 Mortgage and the Builders Association. We're coming right back here to KMED right after this. The Real Estate Show rolls on KMED. It's August 27th. Pete Belcastro here with you. Don't forget, Sheriff Corey Falls joins us next Saturday here on the Real Estate Show. We get his year update about recreational marijuana and its effect that he sees on real estate around Jackson County. We'll hear from the sheriff next week here on the show. Today, Guy Giles from Bank 34 Mortgage and Brad Bennington, the CEO of the Builders Association, are both with us here on KMED. And we've been having an interesting discussion, I might say, about all sorts of things regarding lending and development and the housing situation and the things that we all see that are out there that almost, Guy, break your heart when you talk to people. That's what I find. I mean, I have such empathy for people who are in housing situations that through no fault of their own find themselves in certain situations. Anyway, that's true.
Yeah, just the income, it makes it really hard if you don't have a decent income in this valley anymore to be able to buy a house. But on a side note, back to the Corey Falls thing, that was like the second time I was going to have him as my guest, and I was like, oh yeah, they just asked me last week. So
he's been scheduled for months.
Yeah,
wait to hear about it.
I won't try that one again.
Tell people about, Guy, if you would, regarding the government-backed loans that are there. I mean, I know that so many people, conventional loans, are terrific, and conventional loans right now, you're doing what % down payment need to come the minimum there?
There is a program out there right now called Home Ready. There's good and bad about it. One of the good things is you can have a co-signer on this loan, and believe it or not, they can be all of the income on the loan. It's I don't know who wrote that part, but
no, that's like student loans. One of the things that our listeners over the years, I keep saying, is that never co-sign with your child because you're going to end up doing that. But you're saying that the co-signer in a real estate transaction like this, all of the income could come from them. Well, they're responsible for it if you co-sign, right?
Yes. You are 100%.
It sounds easy, but you're on the tab.
Usually, if you can't loan to somebody, there's a reason. And if so if the bank won't loan, but in certain situations, like you're talking about, as far as somebody that just cannot afford to go anywhere and may not be able to find a rental that has a family member or somebody that's that could help them out. This Home Ready program, it does have some good applications, and there's some income limits. It's like there are with the USDA. The USDA kind of got to the point where it really got priced out, where we're really not seeing that program anymore.
That has really surprised me because it wasn't that long ago when USDA loans were keeping the real estate market afloat.
Well,
in these counties,
Really, the problem is the income limits. If your income is low enough to where you could qualify for a USDA loan, then the housing prices are so high that there's just no houses in that bucket at all.
Category.
So I think this Home Ready will fill a little bit of that gap. The cool little spot on this is there are some income limits, and it has to do with the median house or the median income around here.
What is the USDA loan cutoff? Do you know what that is?
It's $72,000 for a household of 4 and under, and then it goes up over $90,000 for 5 or more. And so
that's not a real stingy.
It feels like it, but like I remember you talking about this when I first started doing the radio program. They have pretty much the lowest default rate on the USDA,
Absolutely.
And a lot of it has to do with the low debt to income that they allow on there. Okay. So they're a little bit picky about that. So even though it sounds like a great income, by the time you get all said and done, it really doesn't amount to as much, especially if you have a car payment or any little thing. But the home ready, that's one thing. If you have somebody that, that doesn't necessarily fit into that income piece, if you have an address, there are some addresses in this county that have no income limits, and they're just kind of scattered around. So if you have a person that's in that, they can come in with as little as 3% down, and there might not be any income limits at all. So you can call me, and I can run a quick address for somebody to figure that out. But by far, the most that I'm seeing right now are VA loans.
You're continuing to see a lot of VA loans.
I never set out to be the VA guy, but I feel like I'm doing it. And it's probably 70% of my business is VA loans still. So we're really good at them. And the nice thing about the VA loans right now is the appraisers have to have, at least in this county, they have to have the appraisal back within 10 business days of when it's ordered. So we're actually able to close those a little bit quicker. I know some people stay away from them a little bit because they think that there's fees that the veteran can't pay for that they have to pay for. And really the only thing is the pest inspection if you're not charging a big origination fee. So I think it's a great loan.
And what are the loans? I mean, what are the rates right now for VA that you're quoting people?
Well, I really low threes. I mean, it is difficult for me to legally, to say a rate, but a range. Somewhere in between 4.1 and 4.3 in the low.
4.1 or 3.1?
3.1, yeah.
Okay.
I can give you a 4% rate.
4%? 4%? Are you kidding me? That's too high. Listen to us talk about that. That's how crazy this is, isn't it?
That's how I sell, just the wrong way, apparently.
But 3.1%. Well, I've had, a adjustable rate mortgage for many years, and it is now, it's like every 6 months that thing adjusts, and it's now it's risen to almost 3.17% now.
You poor thing.
Well, yeah. Well, it was 2.6. I liked it down there. Anyways, come up a little bit. Anyways, we go along. Well, that's good to hear that those are out there and people are taking advantage of those loans.
Yes.
The builders. Back to Brad. The builders. I'm just concerned that. What's going to happen this winter? I mean, we're into the fall. We're coming into fall. Yeah. Everybody's busy. Everybody's working there.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know what happens next. I mean, is this going to continue? Do you think into the fall and winter?
Probably.
Really?
Yeah.
You think that's not going to slow down, or there's that much demand out there?
That's amazing. So I'm not an economist. That's not my skill set. But just looking at the supply and demand side of it, what I can tell you is we see no lack of demand. I talked to Tina Grimes over at RVAR, and I think they've got something like 1,200 realtors now. There's like 1,200 of you guys running around right now. And the biggest problem that you're having is finding product to sell people.
It's down 33 in listings in July. We're down 33% from a year ago, and that's the story of the market right now.
Yeah.
So one listing for every 2 realtors.
So when you have,
if you look at it that way, yeah.
So when you have lending professionals like Guy out there with sub 4% interest rates, I mean, basically interest rates that are 2 points below the CPI, which is insane. It's like, why wouldn't you go out and buy as much property as you could? So. The demand is very strong. Your realtors you realtors have no shortage of customers. You've got more customers, more customers than can find product, and there's just no indication. Last year we had about 10,000 people come through our tour homes per weekend. So 2 weekends, 10,000 a weekend, 20,000 people. This year we think we're going to get 30,000 a weekend.
You probably will get that. You talk about in the areas of price range and the prices. Guy, what are the area that you are seeing the most of? What is that price range, if you can tell us?
Oh my goodness!
What would you say?
It is really all over the map. Finding anything for under $200,000. If you look at my average loan size right now, it's probably over $300,000.
Over $3,000.
Then that's for the loan. That's not the purchase price.
Well, as we've been saying, the inventory which is driving so much of that market. If you're in the 150 to 250,000 range. It's about 3/4 of a month's supply. I mean, so that's not very much. And if you go to 250 to 350, it's about a little bit less than a month's supply of inventory. Now, the higher you go up, you're going to have more. But that price range between I mean, 150 to 350. I mean, as you see, that seems to be the area that great demand is. And what is really cool though is that some of the new construction that we've seen is within those price ranges, Brad. And I think that, I mean, that is really good
for now.
Gosh, I hope you're wrong on that. I really do. I hope you're wrong. But anyway, that's what's happening to our market. That's why it's there. So the ranges go.
Yeah. So really, we've kind of talked about before that the best time to buy is right now. The best time, if you want an apple, the best time to plant an apple tree is 20 years ago. And if you didn't do that, the next best time to plant your tree is today.
Yeah.
So really the best deals that we have out there right now. The further you go down the timeline, the cost drivers that we have are more and more and more. And that's outside of the market. I'm just talking about just pure cost drivers.
It's going to go up more if you don't do it now. That's
and market pressures are going to amplify that.
All right, we've got a break coming up here. We're going to talk about the upcoming tour of homes that'll take place in September. All that and much more. The Real Estate Show rolls on KMED. We're coming right back right after this. Real Estate Show continues here on KMED, August the 27th. Hey, it's like Labor Day week coming up and holiday weekend. Hope you're going to stay cool wherever you are. Boy, this is the time to go to the coast, isn't it? My goodness. I mean, Brookings was like 62 the other day, or today, or yesterday, or whatever that was. I'd like to be there, beating the heat around here. But anyway.
We'll just go outside at 2 in the morning. It'll be 62.
The strange is that we just haven't had, we haven't had this summer, we've had no thunderstorms. We haven't had a deluge, nothing.
Yeah.
We haven't seen clouds in weeks. I mean, I wish it. I'm looking forward to the cooler weather anyway.
I think there's a storm coming next week.
I hope so. I hope you're right. Anyway, last segment here on the show. I want to get back to. I just got to ask, Brad. You talk about building in recreational marijuana. You're seeing in your side of the building. It's still driving a lot, isn't it? I mean, is it slowed down in that particular area, or what's going on? Tell me your impression there.
Well, this new industry is consuming huge amounts of construction services, and they've got money to pay for it. So I'll just give you an example that happened to one of our members. He's a framing company, and he noticed somebody he didn't recognize walking around talking to his guys, and by the time he got over there, the guy was gone. He said. What's the deal with that guy was just here? He says, well, he's from one of the local marijuana farms, and he was offering us $500 to quit working for you and go to work for them, and they'll give us $2 more an hour.
No kidding.
Wow. Yeah. So this is,
it's driving.
We've got a new industry there. Yeah. I mean, go try to buy fence boards. I mean, it's really, really having a gigantic impact on our market.
And when Kelly Madden again was back here from Jackson County, one of the things that she was saying in terms of EFU zones for this and in real estate and issues regarding that, as long as one of my issues with it, what I like to someone look at is if recreational marijuana is considered an agriculture product, which it is, the land that it sits on, and if it's EFU land only, they don't even pay hardly any property tax.
Yeah,
I mean big places like these are paying literally Zippo in property taxes compared to you and I who live in town. That needs to be looked at, too, because I think considering it an agricultural product, I'm not sure if that's the smart way to actually do that or something. I don't know what that means, but these guys and girls who do this, if they're making as much money as they claim, they should be paying more than just a tiny fraction of the property tax. I don't know if that's smart or not, but anyway. I want to get you a second here to just talk about the Builders Association, the tour of homes. So you've got September 6th for 2 weekends, September 16th, 17th, 18th, 23, 24, 25.
Yes.
It's going to be huge. I mean, I'm amazed how big it's come in just a short period of time.
It's huge.
The Ben boys still helping you guys, or are you guys on your own now?
Well, we're on our own now, but we do have some builders that that build in that market and build down here as well. Polish and Hayden both build in both markets. But the reality is that there is just such demand for. I mean, people like to see homes anyway, but we have what I think you could legitimately call an overheated market. So last year we had about 20,000 people a weekend. This year we think we're going to have 30, maybe 35,000 people a weekend, just because of the demand and because of the interest in housing right now. Okay. And it's a lot of fun.
All right, what am I going to see though? I mean, tell people what am I going to, if I want to go to this thing? How do you do it?
Yeah. So what you want to do is we've got a tour guide that's going to come out in the Medford Mail Tribune. It's going to go directly to 35,000 households. So anyone that has a Mail Tribune or Daily Tidings subscription, you're going to get it right to your doorstep. Also, our partners and sponsors, you'll be able to go there. So Rogue Federal Credit Union is our financial sponsor, for instance. Airport Chevrolet is our automobile sponsor. You'll be able to go to our sponsors and get a tour guide. You can go online, go to our website at sobuilds.com, and you can see a map. And once you've got the map, it's just really easy to follow.
Just follow the map. You can go anywhere within the map?
Just follow the map, yeah. And if you know how to do pin drops on our website, you'll be able to do a pin drop and get Google Map directions to it. So that's a lot of fun.
And what types of homes that are on? What did you get this time?
I am glad you asked.
Okay.
I am glad you. Right. So what we say is everything from fam to glam. So you're going to see some affordable housing down in the 260,000 range, and you're going to see some blow your mind. Oh my God, how much did that cost? Houses.
I loved your thing that affordable housing at 160,000. Well, I know what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, the 260 point actually with these low interest rates that Guy was talking about, if you got two people that are both working and making moderate salaries, the math works. The math works. It does,
absolutely.
Yeah. So everything from fam to glam, and the really nice thing about this is you take the tour at your own pace. You look at what you want to look at. We've got a really neat thing down in Ashland. Verde Village is going to be doing a nice, really nice presentation. So much for people to look at. They can look at all of it. They can look at some of it. They can do it over 2 weekends. Last year, people loved it. We think we're just going to really have a great response this year as well.
And it's really getting ideas.
Yes.
Isn't it about remodeling? I get my remodel loan. I heard the guys got those available.
Oh yeah,
I think that's really good. I mean, I'm in that boat, but yes, that's good to have that.
It's a great program.
Yeah,
and we're just starting to see more and more of them.
Remodeling loans, other things I can see within the tours that's going to give me ideas.
Right.
Well, it might not be a bad time to ask your family to come visit you that weekend, especially if you're trying to get them to move here, and they can come check out all those houses.
Yeah. Now, are these things for sale, or are these things? Most of them are people. So they are for sale.
These are new homes. Now one of the problems that we had, unfortunately, is we would have had 6 more homes, but the builders sold them, and so they had to bring in new homes. So we would have had an even bigger one. But for instance, guys talking about remodel money. The people that take this tour, they're going to see certain aspects. They might really like a bedroom. They might really like the way that an entry is done or a garage is done. What they're really going to see that they're going to love, some of these kitchens are just drop dead gorgeous. So our appliance sponsor is Ferguson Enterprises. They're going to have people on site. So you may not want to buy a new home with a price tag of XXX, but you see,
I want those appliances.
But you look at you look at this kitchen, and you go, I think I could afford that kitchen. Go talk to your finance guy. Go talk to Ferguson, and bang, that kitchen can be in your home.
I can see a whole lot of people, taking pictures of different rooms or different things, or something that catches your eye that you want to develop and do, because the curb appeal and all the kinds of things enhances the value of your home.
Everything from fam to glam, and a couple of these houses are real showstoppers, and you'll know it when you see them.
Now, is there a cost here involved with people?
We've got the houses sorted by cost. When the tour guide comes out, you can look at it either on your printed tour guide that you get from the Mail Tribune, or you can go to our website and click on it. Either way, and everything is sorted out by location and price and style.
And it doesn't cost me to go to any of the place, does it?
It should, but
it's free.
But we are doing it for free.
That's really
for
good.
Our community.
That's really nice. It's going to be a big hit, and I know last year you were really thrilled about it, and you have so much more to offer this year. Guy Giles, how can someone get a hold of you? I mean, loans are really big, so
541-944-6987. That's my direct cell phone.
Google him at guy.g@bank34.com. That's the guy's email address. You can get a hold of him there. He'll be lucky to help you out. That's for sure.
Hey,
Brad, nice to visit with you as well. Pete. That'll do it for the Real Estate Show. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next Saturday. Sheriff Corey Falls will be joining us. You have a great week, and God bless.
You've been listening to the Real Estate Show on KMED AM and FM radio, presented by John L. Scott Real Estate of Southern Oregon, along with All Cities Property Management, the Home Builders Association of Jackson County, Ditech Mortgage, the Jackson Soil and Water Conservation District, District and the Rogue Valley Association of Realtors. For guest information or to watch a past show, visit us online at realestateshoworegon.com. Join us again next weekend for Southern Oregon's one and only Real Estate Show on KMED.